Hi everybody, so today I'm gonna make a video about how to restore your normal hunger and fullness signals. And this video is actually a part 1 of a 2-part video series. And in today's video, we will talk about why you lost your normal hunger and fullness signals if you have an eating disorder, why you maybe feel either overly hungry or not hungry at all, and also why you can't always rely on your hunger cues in recovery. And in the next video, we will cover how you can recognize your hunger cues and also the key steps you have to take to get back your normal hunger cues. So yeah, I'm very excited for today's video. I hope it will be helpful. And before we continue, then if you find these videos helpful, then please give it a like and also subscribe to my channel for more future videos and also to be notified whenever I post that part 2 video. So now let's get started with today's video. So firstly, why do we lose our normal hunger and fullness cues if we have gone through an eating disorder? So the thing is that when we restrict, it really messes up our hunger cues. When you have an eating disorder, you likely follow so many external rules that dictate how much you should eat, what you should eat, when you should eat. We force our body into starvation mode so we would lose weight, and totally ignoring the fact that this also messes up our hunger cues. It messes up our metabolism and our digestion and so many other functions of your body. We compensate for the food with either like over-exercising or purging or maybe skipping entire meals. So in short, we go against our body in so many different ways. We don't trust our body, we don't listen to our body. So no wonder that some of our basic functions such as normal hunger cues get all messed up. The thing is that food restriction puts your body in a constant stress. And it senses that it's actually in famine. And to overcome the famine, it alters your hunger and fullness cues so you would survive. Sometimes it increases your hunger, so you would start to feel an urge to binge and overeat. And sometimes it can also decrease your hunger, because when you would be in real famine, it's not actually helpful to be constantly hungry. Because remember that your body doesn't know that this is self-induced starvation. Your body literally senses that, yeah, I'm going through starvation based on the information you give it. And in case of the eating disorder, the information is lack of food because you're not eating enough or you are compensating the calories in one way or another. So let's talk about why you maybe feel always hungry and never satisfied. As we talked about before, that when we are restricting, our body senses that it's in famine. And to protect you against starvation, your body increases your hunger, increases the food obsession, increases the cravings, so you would eat more and not die of starvation. And from your body's perspective, dieting is a form of starvation. And in recovery, we know this as extreme hunger. You can also check out my video about extreme hunger and see why it happens and why it's normal. And also, food restriction causes neurological changes in your brain that makes you notice food more compared to a person who doesn't restrict. You start to notice food more, you obsess about what other people are eating, what you are eating. You may feel like you are thinking about food all day. And this is not because you are a crazy person or something. This is literally the physical effect of dieting. And the more you restrict, the more compelled you are to overeat and binge. And the longer you do it, the more sensitive your body gets to it. To the point that you can just think about starting a diet or restricting and you may find yourself binging out in the next moment. And here you can also check out my videos about mental restriction, where I talk about the connection to like your thinking, restrictive thoughts, and how it actually physically affects your hunger cues. And many people may wonder that, yeah, but if I'm binge eating, how can I be in starvation because I'm eating so much food? But in so many cases, binge eating is always followed with some type of restriction or compensation, or the restriction and compensation comes before and then we literally binge out after it. Binge eating is still classified as a restrictive eating disorder if it comes with calorie restriction, exercising, skipping meals, trying to eat healthy after you binge out, following all kinds of food rules. Those are all very restrictive behaviors and the reasons of why the binges keep on happening. So the key to overcome binge eating is to stop all restrictions. And you can see my video about how to stop the binge and purge cycle. So now let's talk about why you maybe feel always full and never hungry. In some cases, people who restrict may actually experience a decline of hunger and reduced appetite. And this is typically what we see with people who have anorexia. So if people with anorexia restrict and lose weight, their body senses that it's in serious danger and famine. So it literally reduces the hunger hormone in order to help them survive for longer. Because it makes total sense that when we would be in real famine, then having a high appetite, high metabolism, fast digestion, we would not survive very long. But if we would not feel hungry, we would be able to go for longer in search of more food. And even when people with anorexia can lack physical hunger, they are most likely mentally very, very hungry. They have so many food thoughts. They have such a big food obsession. They feel they are thinking about food all day. So this is their sign of how hungry they really are. And evolutionarily speaking, it makes total sense because, again, having lack of this physical hunger helps us to go longer in search for food, and the mental obsession with the food will help us search more food. You are not a food addict. You are not just like eating emotionally or being like just a crazy person with food thoughts. You are literally hungry and starving. And also in starvation, our metabolism slows down, our digestion slows down. And because our digestion is much slower, we start to feel full much quicker. And then we may experience lack of hunger because of it. But here, the lack of hunger is not a sign that, oh, I'm just eating intuitively, listening to my body. Is literally a sign of that you are starving and your digestion is slowed down so much to conserve energy. And I have made also another video about why I'm always full and never feel hungry, so you can check out that video as well. And also, if you struggle with your digestion, that happens to so many people who have eating disorders, then it's very important to work on getting your digestion to be back to normal in order to have the normal hunger cues. So if you struggle with lack of appetite and you also have messed up digestion, then I have created several videos about the digestion and I will link them down below. And as I said before, even when people with anorexia lack appetite and maybe don't have the physical hunger, but at the same time they are mentally so hungry, they have so many food thoughts, so much food obsession, their whole day may be revolved around food, what to eat, how much to eat, when to eat. So their extreme hunger manifests as this constant food obsession, and that should actually be a real marker of how hungry they really are and how much they should eat. So now let's talk about why in eating disorder recovery you can't always rely on your hunger cues. As I talked about before, starvation will really down-regulate and suppress your hunger cues. And if you struggle with lack of appetite, you can't even wait for your physical hunger to be there before you start to eat more. You simply need to start eating more. You have to even force feed yourself. And if you lack the physical hunger signals, then you rather have to follow your mental hunger. All the food thoughts, the food planning, daydreaming about food. And so many people say that, yeah, if I would follow my mental hunger, then I would be eating all day. And that's very true. And in this case, this is exactly what you need to do, because this is how hungry you really are. Some people just need to commit to eating a lot of food, even way more than the caloric minimums, the 2,500 to 3,500, but even more than that to kind of like trigger the extreme hunger, because your body first needs the evidence of truly having enough food, the proof that famine is truly over, so it can feel safe enough enough that we can now normalize our body functions and speed up the metabolism and the digestion, and we are no longer in any threat of starvation. Plus, it requires a lot of energy from your body to even produce the normal hunger cues and speed up the metabolism and digestion and other things. It can't even start this process if first you don't start to eat more. And I know eating a lot of food brings up a lot of fear, anxiety, but when it comes to eating disorder recovery, you really have to master the skill of being able to feed yourself even when you don't want to. Even when the eating disorder is screaming at you, even when you feel so uncomfortable. If you don't force yourself to get uncomfortable and do the opposite actions and go against your eating disorder and start to eat way more, then you would just end up doing the same old thing and you would get no other results either. Or as they say, nothing can change if nothing changes. So, if you have extreme hunger, then great. Follow your extreme hunger. But if you don't have this extreme hunger, like the physical hunger, then you simply have to commit to eating a lot of food and rather follow your mental hunger, all the food obsession and food preoccupation. Because if you truly do that, you would be eating a lot of food. And see some of my other videos where I talk about the recovery caloric minimums and what about the caloric maximums. Also videos about mental hunger and also the video about extreme hunger. So this is it for today's video. I really hope it was helpful. And as I said before, this was just the first part of a two-part video series. And the second part of this video will come up very soon. And as always, if you need some guidance on how to start your recovery, then please read my book. This is step by step everything I did to fully recover from my eating disorder. And also on my website, I have a few courses about eating disorder recovery, and all the links will be down in the description. And if you like this video, then please like it and also subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for that second part of the video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye!